What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. Today we are going to take a look at a very old collectible card game, and that is the Monster Rancher collectible card game. So this is a sealed booster box of the Monster Rancher game that I had found at a flea market and picked it up real cheap. So wanted to take a look at the cards. I really like digging into old collectible card games, old trading card games, because they're these awesome relics of the past. They sometimes have really terrible ideas that are really interesting to look at, really weird mechanics. And sometimes there are some hidden gems. There's some really cool mechanics that we haven't seen used in other games that were really unique to this one game that didn't last very long and a lot of people didn't know about. So it's cool to go back and kind of explore the history of these old games. So this particular game is not one that I had actually ever heard of. Monster Rancher, of course, is a video game series, and not one that I really have a ton of nostalgic memories for. It is a very cool series. It does really neat things. It was the game where basically you could put in a bunch of discs into your PlayStation 1, for example, and it would turn what it read from those discs into monsters. So the goal of the game was scrounging all the discs you could find, all your various DVDs and CDs, and to seeing what monsters were created from those discs. So it was very cool. Monster Rancher became a pretty big series, of course. It was trying to copy off kind of the Pokemon phenomenon. So it spun out a lot of products. And if you remember a Monster Rancher card game from your youth, it's probably not this one. You see, Monster Rancher had a card game in video game format called Battle Card. This is a different game from Battle Card. This is not the physical version of Battle Card. There was a physical version of Battle Card in Japan, but in the US market, we got the collectible card game, which, again, very different. This game did not really find any amount of popularity even during the height of Monster Rancher popularity at the time. It only had a single expansion. We're looking at it right here. There were, I think, a couple starter decks and a couple theme decks, and that was all that we saw from the release of this game. There are only 99 cards in this set. It says that there are 33 common, 33 uncommon, 33 rare, and 33 ultra rare. However, all of the ultra rare cards are just rare cards in foil. So 99 total cards in the set, and you have to have 60 cards in your deck to play the game. So obviously right there, that's going to be a big shortcoming of this dead game, is that you're not going to have a lot of deck variety with such a limited card pool. Obviously, that's not a thing that we can change now unless we go start designing custom cards. Now, the interesting thing about this game, you can't find much about this online, but I did find someone had put out some scans of the rulebook, so I was actually able to read and figure out how to play this game, and it's very unique. I'm not going to say it's good, I haven't played it yet, but it certainly has some very unique ideas. And the most unique idea, we'll kind of look at this when we start looking at some of the cards, is how battles happen. You actually lay out an arena on the tabletop using cards, so 5x5. And that arena, those cards, is kind of a path in which your monsters can move around and attack each other. So unlike in Pokemon, where you have a list of attacks and you can choose which one to do and they can always hit, the attacks that monsters have in Monster Rancher have a range associated with them, and that's how many spaces in the arena you are away from the enemy monster. You have to be that exact number of spaces away. And you have cards that let you move around, like back up, move forward, and even shove the other monster. So there's seemingly a lot of actual depth there in figuring out where your opponent's going to go and where you're going to go and getting in the right range for your attacks. It does seem very complicated and potentially very clunky, but it's certainly a really unique idea that I've never seen in a collectible card game before. So I'm kind of excited to actually check out some of these cards to see what the super old layout actually looks like. And it's always fun to take a look at 2000s era collectible card games. So we're going to jump in, we're going to open some of these packs. Probably not all of them, there's quite a few in this box. But we're going to kind of just take a sampling of what we got and talk about what we see in these cards. So let's check that out now. Okay, So let's begin our look at the Monster Rancher collectible card game. We'll tear into the plastic here. This was a sealed copy of this booster box, which is certainly fun. Digging in here. All right. So the box obviously looks very 90s. Got your Monster Rancher characters there on it. It says it's 11 card booster packs, which is nice and important there. 36 booster packs inside, and you can get a little glimpse here of some of the cards and fun blurbs about the game. Get ready for the adventure of your life. This is your chance to prove to the world that you're the greatest Monster Rancher of all. So putting together a deck, limited first edition printing is what we have here. They say 132 cards. Again, that's a little bit misleading because there's really only 99 unique cards. So a pretty small set here. So let's crack this sucker open. Of course, get it in full on display mode and start looking at some packs. So pretty much what you would expect here from the booster packs. Got some, again, they look very much like Pokemon card packs, as you would expect. So let us dig in. Our very first pack opening. Oof, these are a little hard to get open here. It's going to be the best means of tearing into this sucker. I'm used to ripping open Magic card packs, and these are a lot tougher to dig into than that. All right, so here we go. So we have a Captain Black Dino. This is our rare, and you see they have actually like a little first edition seal on them. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there in the art, lower portion of the art, is a first edition seal. This is Captain Black Dino. This leader is aggressive in his service of Moo. So the fun thing about this game is there are goodies and baddies. That is the exact terminology of the good guys and bad guys, goodies and baddies. And this is a monster, so you can see a little bit the attacks that we were talking about. So bite, tail slap, tail slash, and charge are Captain Black Dino's attacks. And they have a range and a damage on them. So you can see that for charge, you have to be 3 spaces away, and that's in that arena that you set up. So it's super interesting. I really like that mechanic, you know, as far as the game. Who knows if it actually works out, if it's fun to play, if everyone can figure it out, but it's certainly really, really unique. He actually searches up other black dinos as well. So that's kind of interesting. He's got a little bit of a tribal thing going on. Now, there's other stuff going on this card. So this is the pull number 5. That's another unique thing about this game is the pull number system. So at various times you will have to perform basically a check to see if you succeed at something. So you draw a card and you compare the pull number against some other number in the game. It depends on what you're trying to check. But that is their way of kind of randomizing your ability to succeed or fail at the task you are trying to do. I think that's really interesting. It means you have to balance your deck to have a range of pull numbers. Sometimes you want low ones, sometimes you want high ones, depending on what you're trying to achieve. So it's really, really cool. You have to make sure that you have a reasonable range of pull numbers. And I think that's also an interesting mechanic that this game came up with. You can see very 90s as far as the art goes. So that's Captain Black Dino. Here's our uncommon, which is called Money. Money talks loudly, even in the world of Monster Rancher. Money is a tool you attach to your monsters, and it lets them look through their deck, pull out an attachment, and put it into their hand, and then reshuffle. So searching up an attachment from this attachment. Big Blue, another cool monster there. Got a strong block. This is a training card. So trading cards obviously let your monster get a little bit better. You can see at the bottom, this gives your monster +1 power and +1 defense. So training lets your monster kind of get beefed up a little bit. Another monster, Gel. This cool monster, Mochi. Very neat. Hair. Hengar. a golem, and then a dino, and a clay. So a lot of monsters here in this pack. I think the first edition stamp is really cool. I do like that it actually has that. I think that's really neat. And then, of course, one thing we haven't looked at is the card back. So here is the Monster Rancher collectible card game card back. Again, very 90s. Look at this inset they have going on there. That is very, very 90s. And that, yeah, Monster Rancher, the big giant weird logo that I don't think most people would associate with Monster Rancher, or at least it wouldn't initially invoke the idea of Monster Rancher. Yeah, that is that. So let's open up another pack. Maybe we'll get a foil here at some point. One of those ultra rare foils. Again, as I struggle to get into these packs of cards, very, very strong wrapping they put on these things. And like before, the rare is going to be at front. So our rare is Captain Weeds. Captain Weeds is a plant/naga. He does his best to pander to Moo's every whim. He's got a lot of attacks, and when he is first made active, you get to look through your deck and put a Weeds into your hand and then reshuffle your deck. So a lot of like finding similar monsters. So I was wondering how they were going to go about Dino is a pretty cool looking tiger there. I was wondering how they were going to go about restricting deck building in some way, right? A lot of games have means of doing that. Like Magic has the color system. There's a Suezo. And the color system means that the more colors that you use in your deck, the harder it's going to be to cast those cards. The more chance you will have of not having the correct resources to be able to play the cards that you put in your deck. And this game doesn't have any resources like that. I don't have to actually spend any resources to play a monster, so there's really nothing to limit what you can put in your deck like there are in other games, like in Pokemon with the energy or Magic with the lands. So it seems here they're going to more reward you for putting in like monsters, because then you get to search up monsters of that same type, which is, you know, is an approach. I don't know that it's perfect, and it's one of those things whereas more and more cards would have gotten printed, decks probably continue to get more and more powerful, and who knows if that's a long sustaining thing, but obviously they didn't have to worry about that because they only made one set. Now we've got a Naga here, and we've got our first foil, so you can take a look there. Pretty shiny. I actually really like the look of the foil of these cards. You can see that it actually is on the it's on the frame, the outside of the frame, and in the art. It matches in the art, which I think is pretty cool. Naga here is a snake, obviously, and when he's first made active, you can look through your deck and put any non-captain baddie monster into your hand. So he just gets general baddies. The baddie symbol is this one up here in the corner. Got some power move, living smart, hard as nails, race to the finish, spot dino. Look at that cute little dino. Isn't he just adorable? Red Eye, Toughen Up, Study Hard, Speed Demon, and Power Up. So, like in our first rare there in Naga, again, very, very cool card. Yeah, looks pretty neat. All right, let's see what we're going to get here as we attempt to crack this sucker open. They have like an inner, I don't know if you can see this, this is like inner plastic that isn't coming off super well as I open these. Certainly interesting. And we have our rare this time, which is not a monster, so that's cool. This is a battle card, and it's I'm Calling You Out. So this is the card type that will initiate battles in the game. It's the only way, in my reading of the rules, to actually kick off a battle is when you flip over a battle card when you're doing your pull check. We talked about those pulls. So if you flip a battle card, you will start a battle. So it says pick an opposing player and have him pull a card. So flip over the top card and check this number. And then it says if the number is odd, your monster battles his active monster. If the number is even, you can choose any of his monsters in play to battle your monster instead. If there isn't an extra monster to battle, then you must battle the active monster when the battle is over. The monster that fought against you remains the active monster. So I'm calling you out as an appropriate name because he can pull a non-active monster into the active slot and start punching on him, which I think is pretty cool. Again, we got our first edition there. Another battle card. This one is an uncommon, so it'll probably be less impactful. This one says, the other players can bid to battle your monster. So a bid, I believe, was just saying that you wanted to bid. Each player who wants her monster to fight must take a card from her hand and place it face down in front of her. The cards are turned over all at once and then discarded. The player with the card with the highest pull value gets to battle her monster against yours. In case of a tie, the tied player gets a chance to bid again. If no bids, you automatically win the battle. That's weird. That's an interesting card. One thing we haven't talked about is the frames. I like the kind of sort of brick look of the frames there. Now, one of the things that this card points out, they don't just talk about your opponent, they talk about multiple players. The rulebook actually does set up the fact that you can play this with more than just 2 people, which I think is pretty rare for collectible card games. Most of them are 1 versus 1. Obviously, some of the most fun you can have with a game like Magic is playing it multiplayer, playing it with more than one other person. It's cool, this game actually included in the rules the means to actually do that. So really, really neat that the cards are referencing those things. We got a trap, which is an attachment. A lot of text on these cards. These are actually pretty complicated as far as rule cards go. This is an event, so no monsters can train this turn, so you can't make any of your monsters better with the training cards. And for each injured monster, its owner must pull a card. If the pull is 3 or less, the monster is healed, return it to play. So you can actually heal up some of your monsters if things haven't been going too well for you. Rollerblades, we got some footwear, a rainy day, got Holly, Genki, a big cup of water. Look at that. Looks delicious. And a big meal. So I got some attachment cards there. So lots of attachments in that pack. Our packs, if you've noticed, have been pretty skewed. Like we got a bunch of monsters, and then we got a bunch of attachments. Got a couple battle cards there in a row. So kind of interesting. We'll open one more pack, and then maybe we'll save the others for later. We'll definitely talk about deck building at some point here. And then if I can talk some of my friends into playing this, and we'll actually see how the game actually plays, because I'm pretty interested in checking it out. All right, so our rare this time is a dragon, everybody. We got Falcon, a dragon pure breed. Falcon is the big boss of the Dragon Bandits. And Falcon, again, can look through your deck and put a dragon in your hand. So that seems pretty common. We've seen that on a lot of cards now. Digging up and finding similar cards, be it the same type, be it other baddies. They can kind of find their friends. Sandy is a monster. Kuro, right here. Weeds. Out of the way is a trading card. Life in the Fast Lane is a trading card. We can make friends again. Friends for life. Isn't that adorable? You'll get by with little help from your friends. So far, I'm liking the very simple, very straight and to the point flavor text on these cards, right underneath everything. Like, feeling great. What could be better? I think that's fun. I like that that's there. Brilliant idea. Einstein would be proud. So brilliant idea is a trading card. You get to pull a card, subtract your monster's loyalty from the pull card, and if the result is 2 or less, attach this card to your monster. So loyalty in this case is, I think, how many training cards are attached to this monster, if I remember correctly. And then we got feeling good again, right here. Good day, sunshine. It's feeling good. So that is a few of the cards from Monster Rancher Collectible card game. Got a few of our rares here. Let's go back and take a look one more time at our ultra rare, our foil, which is Naga. Okay, again, very cool, super shiny. Hopefully we get some more ultra rare cards as we dig through these. So that is the Monster Rancher collectible card game. A little bit of a taste there. As I said, we'll open the rest of these packs. We'll start building some decks and play the game and see if it's actually good, because I think it has some interesting ideas. I think it's worth taking a look. Unfortunately, again, only 99 cards in the set, but I think at least fun to give a chance and see if people were just sleeping on this game and if it should have become a big hit. So thanks for joining me to take a look at these cards, and that's it. Thanks.